Welcome to this tale, a knight's tale. The Duke of Athens, named Theseus, had been raging a war with the Amazons. After this war, he forced the queen of the Amazons to marry him. He forced her and her daughter, named Emilia, to accompany him to Athens. On the way to Athens, he and his company met a noble woman dressed in black.
Please help us. The tyrant Groot from Thebes has killed our husbands. He threw the dead bodies on the palace dog food.
Don't fear him, my ladies. I will make him pay for his actions.
Theseus begins his journey to Thebes to conquer the city. When Theseus and his army arrive, they begin to prepare to siege the city.
Let's take this city and destroy the tyranny.
Theseus' army begins the siege and they bring the battle ram to destroy the gates of the city.
Let's wreck those bastards.
The army breaches the gates and they flood into the city.
Come here, you bloody bastard.
A huge fight breaks out in the city. Dead bodies everywhere you look. Theseus' army manages to fight their way to the town hall.
Let us breach the door.
In the town hall they find Creon. Theseus begins to fight Creon while his guards watch him.
You are no match for me.
Theseus manages to disarm Creon and he goes to stand above Creon.
Your tyranny ends here.
No, please, I've got a family. Please show some mercy.
Nope.
Theseus swings his sword down and off Creon's head goes. The city is now in the hands of Theseus. When the army is ready to leave, Theseus finds two men still alive between all the dead bodies. It turned out they were cousins of Creon.
Let's bring him to Athens. We will imprison him in the best tower we have.
Finally does Theseus, his army and soon to be his wife move back to Athens.
This is where the fun begins.
They arrive in Athens where Theseus takes the cousins to his palace tower. Theseus' men lock the two half-dead cousins up for life.
There you go, fellas. Prepare for a life in prison.
We're done for cousin. We're never getting out of here.
One day, Palamon spotted Emily walking through the palace garden. Palamon couldn't help himself but fall in love with her immediately.
Something is rising, and it ain't Jesus.
Palamon tells Arcite about the girl he just saw.
Come and take a look, Arcite. I'm looking at the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
I'm coming.
When Arcite sees the girl, he immediately falls in love with her, just like Palamon.
I'm in love with her.
Wait, I'm in love with her too. Only one can be with her.
Arcite and Palamon, once sworn friends, now became rivals. After some time, because of good behavior, Theseus decides to release Arcite.
Go and do never return, or you will meet your death.
As you wish, my lord.
But for his love of Emily, Arcite decides to turn in a disguise.
I will try to get a high position inside so I can see Emilia.
Arcite climbs to get a high position inside Theseus' board. Theseus doesn't suspect a thing. Arcite sees Emily daily now. Palamon manages to escape the tower. He flees to the forest that is near the city.
Yeet.
In the forest, Palamon finds Arcite.
You traitor, you left me to rot in there.
You would have done the same thing.
I challenge you to duel.
I accept. You won't be a match for me.
Palamon and Arcite begin a duel, when suddenly Theseus walks by his new wife and Emily.
What's this?
Nothing.
Theseus almost orders his men to execute the two cousins, but then he is stopped by his wife Hippolyta and Emily.
Please spare their lives.
Listen to her. Maybe you can organize a tournament.
That is a great idea. Palamon, Arcite, you each have 1 year to assemble an army. Then you will battle it out and the winner will marry Emily.
Palamon and Arcite both go their way to assemble an army.
I will destroy you, my cousin.
Oh, I don't think so.
A year later, when the battle is about to start, Arcite, Palamon, and Emily go to their favorite god to pray for the outcome of the battle. Arcite goes to Mars.
Mars, god of war, let me win this battle.
Palamon seeks his favorite god Venus.
Please, let me marry Emily.
And finally, Emily also goes to Venus.
Please, let the one win who loves me the most.
Venus consults Saturn, the god of the sudden death, about what to do. The battle is starting and the two armies are standing face to face.
I'm going to win this, I asked Mars.
Shit.
The horns of war are blurring. The battle was fought fierce and many losses on both sides.
Cavalry, make the breakthrough.
The cavalry clashes into the army of Palamon.
Run for your life!
Stay and fight.
Although Palamon attempts, his army starts to flee.
Cowards.
Palamon gets captured and taken to the hill where Theseus was looking at the battle.
Well done, Arcite. You have won the tournament and you were able to marry Emily.
Of course, she's mine.
Except
As soon Arcite begins to move his horse to Emily, his horse breaks his legs and he falls to the ground, breaking his neck.
well, I guess Palamon wins then.
Palamon and Emily marry and Theseus makes Palamon the ruler of Thebes, the city he conquered from Creon.
Goodbye, free time.
The
The end.